So far we have had lessons on how to find solutions of the lines, how to graph lines using a table of values, how to graph lines using their intercepts. Now we're going to look at the slope, and then we're going to use that slope to graph the line. What is the slope of a line? Well, the slope is a number which measures the steepness and direction of a line. If you've ever gone snow skiing, you have bunny slopes, intermediate slopes, the black diamond killer slopes. They are all telling you the different steepness of the mountains. Well, when you have a line, you also have steepness and direction. So this line right here, you're going to read it from left to right, and we're going up, so this has a positive slope. This one is going down from left to right, so this has a negative slope. Now we're back to our horizontal line. Now speaking of mountains, what if you were to try to ski? Snowing, right? Snow skis, you don't have those poles to push you along, and you tried to ski on this type of mountain that was flat. How fast would you go? You would go 0 miles an hour. So this has a slope of 0. What about a vertical line? What if you tried to ski down a mountain like that? What would happen? I think you would fall and you would go splat. And what would happen? You would become undefined. So the slope of a vertical line is undefined, the slope of a horizontal line is 0, and then we have negative and positive slopes. The letter that we use for the slope is the letter M, and we're going to talk about that slope being the rise over the run. The rise is associated with our y values. The run is associated with our x values. Those little subscripts mean we're just going to subtract in a particular order. So let's practice finding the slope and then graphing, or let's graph and then find the slope. Either way. Let's plot those 2 points. Let's graph and then find the slope. So if I go 1, 2, 3 up to, that's that point, 7, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I count right? 1, 2. All right, and then I connect them. There's my line. Now look at that line. Does it have a positive or a negative slope? It has a positive slope, so I know my answer is positive. Now, let's use that rise over run. So start out 1 point, and we're going to go to the other point. So how far, how would I have to go? I would have to go up and over, rise over run. Let's count. So I'd have to go up 1, 2, 3. So my slope would be positive 3 because I rose 3 and I went over 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is 3/4. What if I didn't graph it? What if I used this formula? What is this y2 minus y1 stuff? Well, this is y2, this is y1, meaning your second y and your first y. And it says to subtract them. Then this is your second x, this is your first x, and it says to subtract them. And I get the same answer. So graphing or using the formula, either way. Let's do it again. Let's plot the point, graph the line. Now what kind of slope is that? Remember, we're reading it from left to right, so we would be going downhill, so I know my slope is negative. Why is it negative? Well, if I start here and I go there and I have to do rise over run, well, I'm going negative In the rise or the y direction, I'm going down and then over. So really that's where the negative comes from. 1, 2, 3, down 3, so that's negative 3, but I'm going to the right 2, so that's positive. So this part I went down 3, this part I went over 2. Again, let's see if we can use that formula. y2, y1. Negative 1 minus 2, and here's x2 and x1, 3 minus 1. Negative 3 over 2. Same answer. Let's look at this one. So let's plot the point. Plot the point. Wait a minute. What kind of line is that? That's a vertical line. Well, go back and look at your notes. What kind of slope do vertical lines have? The slope is undefined. What if we did it mathematically? What if we used our formula? y2 minus y1, negative 1 minus 2, x2 minus x1, negative 3 minus a negative 3. Well, a minus and a minus makes plus and you get 0. You can never, ever, ever divide by 0. Why? Because it's undefined. So vertical lines, a slope is undefined. Let's look at number 4. Plot the points. Plot the point. And we get a horizontal line. What kind of slope does a horizontal line have? It has a slope of 0. And no, you don't have to write out the word 0. You could just put the number 0. And again, if I wanted to check out my formula, I would have 2 minus 2, 3 minus a negative 4. So that would be 0 over 7, which is 0. Another thing I'd like for you to notice, if they're asking you for the slope and the x coordinates are the same, you're going to get undefined because on the bottom you're subtracting the same thing. Also, if the x's are the same, you get a vertical line. If the y values are the same, you're going to get a slope of 0 because it's going to give you a horizontal line. Just some quick tricks. Now number 5 and 6, they didn't give me a little graph paper, so they still want me to find the slope. So you could graph it on your own, but let's do the formula. Probably the biggest mistake students make is not matching up the letters. So one suggestion I have is to write the ordered pairs underneath each other, and then you have those are the y's and those are the x's. And yes, you could call this one y2 and that one y1, or you could reverse them. It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent. So if this one's y2, then that one would have to be x2. So again, we want to subtract the y's over subtracting the x's. Y over x, rise over run. Alright, so that's going to be positive 9, negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. So could you check that by sketching it, by plotting those 2 points and confirming you get a negative slope? You sure could. Right, so again, I'm going to write them underneath each other. So 6, negative 1, I'm going to go right underneath here. So my slope is the y's over the x's. The y's on top of the x's. So that makes plus, so we have 9. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Reduce that, negative 3. So be careful lining up your y's and your x values. Be careful of all those negatives.